In this video we are going to talk about asthmatic. Start running. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. If you have asthma, exercise can sometimes worsen your symptoms. The symptoms may include wheezing, coughing, and shortness of breath. Typically, these symptoms begin within 3 minutes after starting physical activity, peaking within 10 to 15 minutes, then resolve within 60 minutes. Occasionally, these symptoms occur immediately upon stopping activity. When this occurs, it's called exercise-induced bronchoconstriction, I. The term exercise-induced asthma was used in the past to describe this phenomenon, but it's considered outdated because exercise itself doesn't cause someone to develop asthma. Running can even ease your asthma symptoms by strengthening your lungs and reducing inflammation. This can make it easier to enjoy daily activities and exercise in general. Before starting a running routine, make sure your asthma is well controlled. Your doctor can help you manage your asthma before you hit the pavement. In the past, when I joined a running club in the Netherlands, to my surprise, there were many runners who tried to stop smoking and had asthmatic issues. Some of these runners had a daily issue with breathing. Every day was a struggle when it came to breathing. In the Netherlands, the doctor would send asthmatic people to the running club and recommend them to start with running. Those who joined the running club and continued the program for at least 6 months stopped with smoking and had no problems with breathing anymore. Some of the asthmatic runners were so good that they even started competing on national levels. As of writing, my wife is communicating with a female runner in the US who was asthmatic and also was recommended by the doctor to start running. At the moment, she is entering elite level of running and has a VO number of over 70. So very fit and has no problems with asthma anymore. Isn't that great? If you have problems with breathing, give running a try. Check with your doctor and follow instructions of your coach. Start very small and take very easy steps in the beginning. Most important part is to get started. Get those lungs to become stronger and healthier. Writer Laurel Leicht wrote a great article in Runner's World. What runners should know about asthma. Why is running the solution to people who struggle with asthma? Here is a summary of her video. General information about asthma. As a disease that can make the basic act of breathing a challenge, asthma can be a scary, and potentially fatal, condition for anyone to contend with in life. And it's a health issue that affects a lot of people. In fact, more Americans than ever before, 25 million, have asthma, according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. The funny thing is that in the 2008 Beijing Games, 17% of cyclists and 19% of swimmers had asthma. They captured 29% and 33% of the medals in those sports, respectively. When elite athletes with asthma appear to perform better than athletes without asthma, it is sometimes referred to as the asthma advantage. How is this possible? A rigorous warm-up generates a refractory period, in which the airways are primed to stave off an asthma flare during exercise. Athletes with asthma essentially become protected from asthma symptoms, Dr. Olin says. As a result, these athletes, who typically train intensely for long periods of time, are able to compete at their highest level. It is a common chronic health condition among athletic people. Just to mention one person, Paula Radcliffe. Paula was previously the fastest female marathoner of all time, and held the women's world marathon record with a time of 2 hours 15 minutes and 25 seconds for 16 years from 2003 to 2019. Paula is known to have suffered from asthma and anemia before she took up running at the age of 7. Studies show regular exercise can actually help people with asthma improve breathing. It can also reduce stress and anxiety that can trigger flares. There are many top elite athletes with asthma problems. Just to mention a few: David Beckham, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Greg Louganis, Jerome Bettis, Peter Vanderkay, Amy Van Dyken, Tom Dolan, Dennis Rodman, Christy Yamaguchi, Emmett Smith, Dominique Wilkins, and the list goes on and on. In short, don't let asthma be a reason for you to stop what you do in life. To help you navigate the condition, we talked with Sonali Bose, MD, MPH, Associate Professor of Medicine in Pulmonary, Critical Care, and Sleep Medicine at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City, for all the info on what happens in your body when you have asthma and how to manage it so you can enjoy life to the fullest and know what it means for your running. What is asthma? Asthma is a chronic condition affecting the lungs and airways that carry oxygen to and from them. It's usually characterized by inflammation of those airways, which can narrow when something triggers them, think smoke, an allergen, or exercise. We think of airways in an asthmatic patient as being hypersensitive. What normally might not bother someone without asthma can cause the airways to be very twitchy in someone who has the disease, says Dr. Bose. An asthma attack is when symptoms worsen to the point that you're having trouble breathing, wheezing, coughing, or feel significant tightness in your chest. It depends on the severity of someone's condition, but an attack can cause serious complications or even be fatal if not managed quickly and properly. What are the risk factors for asthma? If one of your parents has asthma, you might too. Genes do play a role, but they're far from the only factor upping your chances of developing the disease, Dr. Bose says. Asthma is very closely tied to the environment, starting when you're a fetus in your mother's womb. Exposure to things like cigarette smoke, chemicals, and various microbes all play a role, as can poor air quality outside or in the home. People who have allergies or who had respiratory infections as a child may be at higher risk as well, she says. Research also demonstrates the role the environment can play in asthma. For example, one older study published in 2014 found that children diagnosed with asthma by age 5 were more likely to have had early exposure to environmental factors like pesticides, herbicides, and smoke, or have been in daycare in their first 4 months of life. Meanwhile, a review published in 2020 points to several articles that have found that exposure to both indoor and outdoor pollution significantly ups your risk of getting asthma, especially for children. What's the difference between regular asthma and other types? First of all, there's no regular asthma. There are many different types of the disease, explains Dr. Bose. People often lump them all together, but there are very different categories under the umbrella of asthma. For instance, there's a phenotype of asthma predominantly present in children that's potentially more linked to allergies than other types of the condition. Other varieties of asthma can develop later in life, and some of these are linked to obesity. Exercise-induced asthma is exactly as it sounds, asthma that's triggered by activity. But having this condition doesn't mean that exercise is the only thing that can make breathing difficult, or even if that's the only thing that sets off symptoms for you now, you may still develop sensitivity to other triggers in the future as well, says Dr. Bose. What are the symptoms of asthma and how is it diagnosed? The symptoms are mostly tied to breathing, such as shortness of breath with activity, tightness in your chest, coughing, or wheezing. But there are sneakier symptoms, too. It can also be a sign that you should get checked out if you're feeling like you're not meeting your usual capacity or level when exercising, says Dr. Bose. This happens sometimes with elite athletes or people who train often. If their performance is off from their personal best, that can give a clue that they might have some limitations related to their airways. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, seek out a pulmonologist. Many asthma symptoms can present themselves with other conditions as well, such as allergies, so the doctor will do a variety of exams and potentially involve an allergist, too. Your doctor will likely start with a breathing test to evaluate your ability to exhale. If you're having trouble with this, it could reflect constriction or narrowing of the airways. They may also do a bronchoprovocation test, which simulates a condition that would cause narrowing of the airways and can determine whether the airways are hypersensitive. Allergy tests, via skin pricks or blood work, might also be necessary. How is asthma treated? Treatment varies greatly from person to person. Your doctors will fine-tune your plan and may need to adjust it seasonally or from time to time if your symptoms change, says Dr. Bose. But generally, treatment involves an albuterol inhaler or a rescue inhaler. These are bronchodilators, meaning they open the airways, and you use them to relieve symptoms in the short term when you're having an attack or before exercise. Depending on your symptoms and the severity of your condition, you may also need a daily inhaler, oral medication, or other adjunct therapies, especially if allergies are one of the primary triggers of your symptoms. How does asthma affect running? If you have asthma, make sure you talk with your doctors about whether running is right for you. But in many cases, you won't have to stick to the sidelines just because of your condition. You'll just need to make sure to have a plan in place. Because asthma affects your airways and running is a cardiovascular activity, it can make racking up miles more challenging. Dr. Bose stresses that above all, it's essential to be aware of your own symptoms and your surroundings. For example, a path along a congested highway might aggravate your symptoms more than laps on a secluded track. Is running good or bad for someone with asthma? We encourage people to have the best respiratory fitness, and exercising is one way to support long-term lung health, says Dr. Bose. In fact, there's evidence that aerobic training and physical activity can help improve people's lung health. Especially if you have asthma, it might also help prevent the long-term decline of lung function that's associated with asthma, says Dr. Bose. The most important thing to remember: before you sign up for your next race, make sure to speak with your doctors, stick to the medical strategies they set out for you, and always listen to your body. Looking forward to see you soon being part of the runners crowd. Hope you liked today's video. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel or hit the bell icon. We will meet again with another interesting topic. Till then, stay healthy and be happy.